Picture this. The year is 225 BC. The morning mist parts to reveal thousands of Celtic warriors standing atop the rolling hills of northern Italy. Their bodies painted in woad, displaying intricate blue patterns that strike fear into their enemies' hearts. Their wild hair, stiffened with lime, stands like spikes against the dawn sky. The ground trembles as they beat their shields with their swords, creating a thunderous rhythm that echoes across the valley. Facing them stands the disciplined ranks of the Roman legion, their red cloaks a stark contrast against their gleaming armor. The Celts charge forward with their infamous battle cry, a sound so terrifying it would be recorded in Roman histories for centuries to come. This scene represents just one of countless battles between the Celtic tribes and the expanding Roman Empire. But who were these fierce warriors who could make even the mighty Romans tremble? The Celtic peoples dominated much of Europe from the 4th century BC to the 1st century AD, their territory stretching from modern-day Britain and Ireland in the west, through France and Germany, to the very edges of Turkey in the east. These weren't simply barbarians, as Roman writers would have us believe, but rather sophisticated societies with advanced metalworking, intricate art, and complex spiritual beliefs. In this journey through ancient history, we'll delve deep into the world of the Celtic tribes, exploring their warrior culture that valued individual combat prowess and honor above all else. We'll discover their mysterious Druids, the keepers of oral traditions and spiritual knowledge, and uncover the fascinating customs that governed their daily lives. From their elaborate gold work to their fearsome war chariots, we'll see how these people combined artistic sophistication with martial prowess. The Celts weren't isolated. They traded, fought, and interacted with numerous civilizations, from the Greeks who settled in Marseilles to the Etruscans in northern Italy. Their greatest interaction, and ultimately their greatest challenge, came from the expanding Roman Republic. These encounters would shape both societies, leading to technological exchanges, cultural borrowings, and eventually, dramatic military confrontations that would determine the fate of Europe. If you're ready to embark on this fascinating journey through Celtic history, to walk among their warrior bands and witness their mystical ceremonies, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Legacy of Empires. Hit that notification bell to join us on future adventures as we explore the greatest civilizations of the past. The story of the Celts awaits, and it's one you won't want to miss. The world of the ancient Celts was one of untamed grandeur and natural splendor. Imagine vast oak forests stretching as far as the eye could see, their ancient branches creating mysterious shadows on the forest floor. These weren't just woodlands. They were sacred spaces where the Celts believed their gods dwelled. Through these forests wound ancient trackways, connecting settlements and sacred sites, while mighty rivers like the Rhine and Danube served as natural highways for trade and communication. Perched atop commanding hills and ridges stood the Celtic oppida, massive fortified settlements that could house thousands of people. These weren't simple hill forts, but sophisticated urban centers with planned streets, workshops, and marketplaces. Take Bibracte in modern-day France, for example. A sprawling settlement protected by massive stone walls stretching for 3 miles, demonstrating remarkable engineering skills. The walls, built using a technique the Romans called murus gallicus, combined timber frameworks with stone and earth, creating defenses that were both strong and flexible. Perhaps most impressive were their ritual spaces. The great stone circles, though many predated Celtic occupation, were incorporated into their religious practices. Sites like Navan Ford in Ireland showcase the Celtic ability to create monumental architecture for spiritual purposes. These ceremonial centers often featured complex astronomical alignments, proving their sophisticated understanding of the heavens. The Celts also constructed wooden temples and shrines, though most have been lost to time, leaving only post holes and foundation traces for archaeologists to study. The soil of Europe has yielded extraordinary evidence of Celtic craftsmanship. The Gundestrup cauldron, discovered in a Danish bog, reveals their masterful silverwork and rich mythological traditions. Intricate gold torques, neck rings that served as symbols of power and status, demonstrate their exceptional metalworking skills. Each piece tells a story. Decorated scabbards speak of warrior pride, delicate brooches show their love of personal adornment, and ritual objects like the Battersea shield combine practical function with stunning artistic expression. The technological sophistication of the Celts often surprises modern observers. They were masters of iron working, producing steel of such high quality that their swords could bend and spring back into shape, a flexibility that amazed their Roman adversaries. Their wheeled vehicles, especially their chariots, incorporated sophisticated suspension systems using iron components. In mining and metallurgy, they developed shaft mining techniques and complex furnaces capable of reaching the high temperatures needed for working iron and bronze. Celtic craftsmen invented chain mail armor, which would later be adopted by the Romans and used for centuries to come. They developed a type of wood lathe that allowed them to create perfectly round wooden vessels, and their expertise in enameling, the art of fusing colored glass to metal, was unmatched in the ancient world. Their agricultural tools, including a heavy plow suitable for northern European soils, revolutionized farming in their territories. Every year, new discoveries continue to enhance our understanding of Celtic technological achievements. Recent excavations have revealed sophisticated water management systems, evidence of mass production of iron tools, and hints of complex trade networks stretching across Europe. Each artifact, each settlement, and each burial ground adds another piece to the puzzle, revealing a civilization far more advanced than the barbarians described in Roman texts. This archaeological evidence paints a picture of a people who were not only skilled warriors but also innovative engineers, accomplished artists, and sophisticated urban planners. Their legacy lives on not just in museum displays, but in techniques and technologies that would influence European civilization for centuries to come. The typical Celtic warrior cut an imposing figure on the battlefield. Standing taller than most Mediterranean peoples, Celtic warriors were known for their distinctive appearance. Their hair was often lime-washed and styled into spikes, creating a fearsome silhouette. Many warriors decorated their bodies with woad, a plant-derived blue dye, creating intricate patterns that held both decorative and possibly ritual significance. Their battle dress was as distinctive as their appearance. Warriors wore long oval shields decorated with tribal emblems, and many fought bare-chested to display their battle scars and tattoos. High-ranking warriors wore elaborately decorated bronze helmets, often adorned with horsehair crests or horns. Their most prized possessions were their weapons: long iron swords designed for slashing rather than stabbing, heavy spears, and javelins. The wealth and status of a Celtic warrior could be seen in their personal adornments. Golden torques, neck rings, marked the elite, while bronze arm rings and intricate brooches fastening their cloaks demonstrated their social standing. Their armor, when worn, included chainmail, a Celtic invention, and bronze breastplates for the wealthiest warriors. Druids held an extraordinary position in Celtic society, combining the roles of priest, judge, scholar, and advisor. These learned individuals underwent up to 20 years of training, memorizing vast amounts of sacred knowledge, as they were forbidden to write down their teachings. Their education encompassed natural philosophy, astronomy, mathematics, and tribal law. Druids served as intermediaries between the mortal and divine realms. They performed sacrificial rituals, interpreted omens, and maintained the tribal calendar. Their political influence was immense. They could stop battles by stepping between opposing armies, and their judgment in legal matters was final. The white robes of the Druids, often accompanied by golden sickles for harvesting sacred mistletoe, marked them as distinct from warriors and commoners. They gathered in sacred groves and conducted ceremonies at significant times of the year, particularly around the solstices and equinoxes. Among the most famous Celtic leaders was Brennus, who led the Senans tribe in sacking Rome in 390 BCE. After defeating the Roman army at the Battle of Allia, his forces occupied Rome for 7 months. When negotiating the ransom for the city, Brennus famously threw his sword onto the scales, declaring "Vi victis," woe to the vanquished, demanding even more gold. Vercingetorix emerged as a powerful leader who united many Gallic tribes against Julius Caesar in 52 BCE. His strategic ability in uniting traditionally fractious Celtic tribes demonstrated exceptional leadership, though he ultimately surrendered at Alesia to save his people from starvation. Celtic society stood apart from other ancient cultures in its treatment of women. Celtic women could own property, choose their marriages, and lead their people in battle. The legendary warrior Queen Boudica of the Iceni tribe led one of the most significant revolts against Roman rule in Britain in 60-61 CE. Female Druids, or Bandrui, also played crucial roles in Celtic spiritual life. The Greek geographer Strabo wrote of the women of Senna, modern-day Seine, who were renowned for their prophetic abilities. These priestesses maintained sacred sites, performed divination rituals, and served as healers and spiritual advisors. Archaeological evidence supports historical accounts of female warriors. Graves containing weapons alongside typically female grave goods suggest that some women participated in combat. The Celtic warrior women trained alongside men and could rise to positions of military leadership based on their skill and courage rather than their gender. These diverse figures, from battle-hardened warriors to mystical druids, from legendary leaders to powerful women, reflect the complexity and richness of Celtic society. Their stories, preserved in both historical records and archaeological findings, paint a picture of a sophisticated culture that valued individual prowess, spiritual wisdom, and gender equality in ways that were unique in the ancient world. Picture a Celtic village bustling with life as we delve into the intricate social fabric of these remarkable people. The Celtic social structure wasn't simply hierarchical. It was a complex web of relationships, obligations, and honors. At its heart lay the Tuath, or tribe, led by a king chosen not just for his bloodline, but for his ability to bring prosperity and victory to his people. Let us transport ourselves to a tribal gathering, where smoke rises from countless hearths. The social hierarchy becomes visible in the very arrangement of the gathering. In the center sits the tribal king, surrounded by his noble warriors, their golden torques gleaming in the firelight. Beyond them sit the skilled craftsmen, the metalworkers, whose bronze work is sought after throughout Europe, and the weaponsmiths, whose swords are worth a king's ransom. In the outer circles sit the farmers and herders, the backbone of Celtic society. Now, witness a Celtic war band preparing for battle. Their training begins at dawn, with young warriors learning the art of spear throwing and swordplay. The Celts were masters of psychological warfare. Their battle charge was preceded by a terrifying display. Warriors would beat their weapons against their shields, creating a thunderous rhythm while blowing Carnick's war horns that produced an otherworldly sound that echoed across the battlefield. The Celtic cavalry was renowned throughout the ancient world. Mounted warriors would practice intricate maneuvers, their horses responding to the slightest touch. But perhaps most impressive were their chariots, two-wheeled vehicles that could carry a driver and a warrior. The chariot teams would practice complex battle formations, the wheels throwing up clouds of dust as they executed tight turns at full gallop. Let us turn our attention to one of the most dramatic confrontations between Celtic and Roman forces, the Battle of Alesia in 52 BCE. Vercingetorix, the charismatic leader of the United Gallic tribes, had retreated to the hilltop fortress of Alesia with 80,000 warriors. Julius Caesar's response was unprecedented. He ordered the construction of 2 rings of fortifications, one facing inward to contain the Gauls, another facing outward to repel the massive relief force that was surely coming. The siege lasted for weeks. Inside Alesia, food grew scarce. Outside, a massive Celtic relief army of 250,000 warriors gathered. The final battle was fought on multiple fronts, with Vercingetorix's forces attacking from within while the relief army struck from without. The fighting was fierce, with Celtic chariots charging the Roman lines while infantry sought to breach the fortifications. However, the disciplined Roman defense, combined with Caesar's tactical genius, ultimately prevailed. In the heart of every Celtic settlement stood the sacred space where Druids performed their rituals. These mysterious figures were more than priests. They were the keepers of oral tradition, judges, healers, and advisors. Their training was lengthy and demanding, requiring the memorization of thousands of verses containing tribal laws, histories, and prophecies. Imagine a midwinter ritual. The Druids gather at a sacred grove as the sun sets on the shortest day of the year. They wear white robes, carrying golden sickles for harvesting sacred mistletoe. Their ceremonies combined astronomical observations with deep spiritual significance. They believed in the transmigration of souls and saw the physical and spiritual worlds as deeply interconnected. The Druids' knowledge extended beyond the spiritual realm. They were skilled in herbal medicine, could predict celestial events, and maintained the Celtic calendar. Their prophecies were sought by kings and warriors alike, and their blessing was essential before any major undertaking. They served as the living memory of their people, preserving not just religious knowledge but the very identity of Celtic culture through their oral traditions. This complex interweaving of social structure, military prowess, and spiritual wisdom created a society that was far more sophisticated than their enemies often realized. The Celts were not simply fierce warriors. They were members of a rich culture that valued honor, wisdom, and the delicate balance between the physical and spiritual worlds. In their lives, we see a reflection of timeless human struggles and aspirations. The desire for recognition, the search for meaning, and the eternal challenge of maintaining independence in the face of overwhelming odds. Their story continues to resonate today, reminding us of the enduring power of courage, wisdom, and cultural identity. Deep in the mists of ancient Celtic lands, a world existed where the veil between the physical and spiritual realms was thin and permeable. The Celts believed in a cosmos divided into 3 realms: the heavens above, the mortal world, and the other world below. These weren't separate domains but interconnected spheres, linked by sacred trees whose branches reached to the heavens while their roots delved into the other world. In Celtic cosmology, the natural world pulsed with divine energy. Every river, every grove, every mountain had its guardian spirit. The Celts saw time not as linear but cyclical, mirroring the endless dance of seasons. They believed certain moments, like Samhain, modern Halloween, created temporal doorways when the boundaries between worlds grew especially thin. Let us explore their rich pantheon of deities. Mighty Tyrannes, the thunder god, rode across storm clouds in his chariot, his wheel symbol representing the sun itself. Cernunnos, the horned god of nature and fertility, watched over the wild places and the creatures dwelling within. The goddess Brigid, keeper of the sacred flame, presided over poetry, healing, and smithcraft. These deities weren't distant figures but active participants in daily life. Picture a Celtic settlement as darkness falls. Around the central hearth, a bard begins to sing. His voice rises and falls, weaving tales of heroes past, of great battles, of love and loss. The Celts were masterful storytellers, and their bards held positions of great honor. These weren't mere entertainers but keepers of tribal history and genealogy, their memories honed to recall hundreds of stories, poems, and sacred texts. Music filled Celtic life with emotion and power. The haunting sounds of their instruments, the Carnick's war horn, the bronze horns, the delicate lyre, accompanied both celebrations and ceremonies. Archaeological findings have revealed sophisticated musical instruments, suggesting complex musical traditions that sadly can only be imagined today. The Celtic year was marked by 4 great festivals. Samhain marked the beginning of winter and the Celtic New Year, when the boundaries between worlds were thinnest. Imbolc celebrated the first stirrings of spring, associated with the goddess Brigid. Beltane ushered in the summer with great bonfires and celebrations of fertility, while Lugnasad marked the beginning of the harvest season with feasting and athletic competitions. Daily life in Celtic society was governed by a strict code of honor. Warriors lived by a complex system of obligations and rewards, where personal reputation was more valuable than material wealth. They believed that a person's honor followed them into the afterlife, making brave deeds and honorable conduct essential for both worldly respect and spiritual salvation. The Celts maintained strong connections with their ancestors, believing the dead watched over the living and could offer guidance and protection. Sacred sites often combined as both temples to the gods and memorial grounds for honored ancestors. During certain festivals, they believed the ancestors would join the living in celebration, maintaining the eternal bonds between past and present. Ritual and ceremony infused every aspect of Celtic life. Before cutting a tree or harvesting plants, they would ask permission from the spirit dwelling within. Before battle, warriors would make offerings to their gods and ancestors. Even daily tasks like lighting the morning fire or drawing water from a well were accompanied by sacred verses and small rituals. The Celtic approach to gender roles was remarkably progressive for their time. Women could be warriors, rulers, and religious leaders. They owned property, chose their marriages, and participated in all aspects of society. This equality was reflected in their mythology, where goddesses were as powerful and important as gods. Their art reflected their worldview. Intricate spiral patterns and complex knotwork represented the interconnectedness of all things. These designs weren't merely decorative but carried deep spiritual significance, often serving as protective symbols or representations of cosmic forces. The Celts' sophisticated understanding of astronomy guided their religious observances and agricultural practices. They built structures aligned with solstices and equinoxes, demonstrating their deep understanding of celestial cycles. Their calendar, discovered at Coligny, reveals precise astronomical calculations and sophisticated timekeeping. In every aspect of Celtic life, we see a people who lived in deep harmony with the natural world while maintaining a sophisticated understanding of spiritual matters. Their legacy reminds us of the importance of balance, between nature and civilization, between physical and spiritual, between individual achievement and communal responsibility. Take a moment now to reflect on these ancient ways. What aspects of Celtic culture resonate most strongly with you? Perhaps their reverence for nature speaks to our modern environmental concerns, or their emphasis on honor reminds us of timeless values we still cherish today. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if this journey through Celtic wisdom has enlightened or inspired you, show your support by leaving a like. Together, let's keep the memory of these remarkable people alive. The morning sun rises over the hills of northern Italy, casting long shadows across a landscape about to witness one of history's most dramatic confrontations. The year is 390 BCE, and Brennus, the Celtic chieftain, surveys Rome from the surrounding heights. His warriors, adorned in their battle gear, await his command. This moment marks the culmination of decades of tension between two fundamentally different worlds. Let us rewind to understand the path that led to this historic clash. The Celtic tribes had gradually expanded southward, their warrior culture bringing them into increasing conflict with the rising power of Rome. Unlike the Romans' disciplined legions, Celtic warriors fought for individual glory, each battle an opportunity to prove their worth to gods and men alike. The initial encounters between these civilizations were marked by mutual incomprehension. The Romans saw the Celts as barbarians, while the Celts viewed Roman military discipline as lacking in honor. Yet both would soon learn to respect their opponent's strengths. Roman historians record with awe the terrifying sight of Celtic warriors charging into battle, their bodies painted blue with woad, their hair spiked with lime, uttering war cries that echoed across the battlefield. The Battle of Allia in 390 BCE showcased the devastating effectiveness of Celtic warfare. Brennus's warriors crashed into the Roman lines like a tidal wave, their long swords cleaving through Roman shields, their physical presence overwhelming. The Roman army, unused to such ferocious individual combat, broke and fled. What followed was unprecedented: the capture and sack of Rome itself. Picture the scene as Brennus's warriors pour into the Eternal City. The famous moment arrives when Roman officials attempt to negotiate the city's ransom. As they weigh the gold, Brennus throws his sword onto the scales, uttering the famous words, "Vi victus," woe to the vanquished. This episode perfectly encapsulates the Celtic warrior ethos: bold, dramatic, and uncompromising. Yet this victory marked both the apex and the beginning of the decline of Celtic power in continental Europe. The Romans learned from their defeat, adapting their tactics and equipment. They began incorporating aspects of Celtic military technology, such as the chainmail armor the Celts had invented. The Roman legions evolved, becoming a more flexible fighting force capable of countering Celtic warfare. As decades passed, Roman expansion continued relentlessly. The organization and logistics of the Roman military machine proved increasingly difficult for the independent Celtic tribes to resist. Despite their legendary bravery, the Celts found their traditional warfare methods gradually less effective against Roman tactics. Witness the tragic siege of Alesia, where Vercingetorix, the great unifier of Gallic tribes, made his last stand against Julius Caesar. The Celtic warriors fought with extraordinary courage, launching desperate attacks against Roman siege works. Yet Caesar's engineering and tactical genius proved decisive. The sight of Vercingetorix surrendering to Caesar symbolizes the ending of an era, the proud Celtic warrior submitting to Roman power. The transformation of Celtic society under Roman influence was gradual but inexorable. In Britain, witness the poignant last stand of Caractacus, fighting a guerrilla war against Roman legions, ultimately betrayed and captured. Or consider the fierce rebellion of Boudica, queen of the Iceni, whose initial successes against the Romans ended in devastating defeat. Yet even in defeat, the Celtic warrior spirit earned Roman respect. Roman writers recorded their admiration for Celtic bravery, even as they condemned what they saw as Celtic indiscipline. The Romans adopted Celtic military innovations and incorporated Celtic auxiliary units into their armies, recognizing their fighting prowess. The contrast between Roman and Celtic military approaches tells a deeper story about their societies. Roman strength lay in organization, discipline, and strategic thinking. Celtic power came from individual warrior prowess, tribal loyalty, and fierce independence. The Romans fought as a machine, the Celts as heroes from their ancient epics. Watch as Celtic fortresses fall one by one: Bibracte, Gergovia, Alesia. Each defeat represents not just a military loss but the crumbling of a way of life. The great hill forts that had dominated the landscape for centuries are abandoned or transformed into Roman towns. The warrior elite who had once adorned themselves with golden torques now adopt Roman dress and customs. Yet something of the Celtic spirit survived. In the furthest reaches of Britain and Ireland, Celtic culture endured. The warrior traditions transformed but didn't disappear, living on in stories and songs. The Druids' ancient wisdom went underground, preserved in Christian monasteries. The Celtic reverence for individual prowess and honor found new expressions in medieval chivalry. This great clash of civilizations reminds us that history isn't simply about victory and defeat. It's about the transformation of societies, the blending of cultures, and the enduring power of human courage and conviction. The Celtic warrior, standing proud against the Roman legions, represents something timeless: the indomitable spirit of freedom and individual valor, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Through the mists of time, the Celtic legacy continues to shape our world in ways both subtle and profound. Though their political power waned, their cultural influence flows like an underground river through European civilization, surfacing in unexpected places and continuing to nourish modern culture. Journey with me through the rolling hills of Ireland, where ancient Celtic place names still whisper their stories. The linguistic footprint of the Celts remains deeply embedded in modern European languages. Rivers like the Thames, Danube, and Rhine bear Celtic names. In France, the word cheval for horse stems from the Celtic epos, while countless place names across Europe reveal their Celtic origins. Recent archaeological discoveries have revolutionized our understanding of Celtic civilization. Beneath the quiet fields of Central Europe, magnetometer surveys reveal vast Celtic settlements, challenging our previous notion of them as purely rural societies. The spectacular burial site at Hochdorf, Germany, with its elaborate golden funerary goods, speaks of a sophisticated culture with far-reaching trade networks. In a modern laboratory, scientists examine the contents of a Celtic priestess's tomb found in Vix, France. The massive bronze crater, the largest surviving metal vessel from the ancient world, testifies to their masterful metalworking skills. DNA analysis of burial sites reveals a complex picture of Celtic population movements and interactions, showing them to be sophisticated traders and diplomats as well as warriors. The Celtic approach to nature resonates powerfully with contemporary environmental concerns. Their reverence for sacred groves and springs, their understanding of the delicate balance between human needs and natural systems, offers insights for our own environmental challenges. Modern eco-spiritual movements often draw inspiration from Celtic concepts of the sacred in nature. Witness the endurance of Celtic artistic traditions. The intricate knotwork patterns that once adorned warrior shields now appear in modern jewelry and tattoo designs. The Celtic love of storytelling and oral tradition finds new life in modern literature and digital media. Writers like Tolkien drew heavily from Celtic mythology, creating works that continue to captivate global audiences. In the realm of spirituality, Celtic wisdom offers alternatives to modern materialistic worldviews. Their understanding of the thin places, where physical and spiritual realms meet, speaks to those seeking deeper connection with the natural world. Celtic Christianity, which harmoniously blended native spiritual traditions with Christian teachings, provides a model for spiritual integration relevant to contemporary interfaith dialogue. Consider how Celtic social values challenge and inspire us today. Their relatively egalitarian gender relations offer historical precedent for modern gender equality. Their warrior code, emphasizing personal honor and loyalty to community, speaks to modern questions about individual rights versus collective responsibilities. The Celtic festival calendar lives on in modified form. Halloween traces its roots to Samhain, when the veil between worlds was believed thinnest. May Day celebrations echo the ancient festival of Beltane. These seasonal celebrations remind us of our connection to natural cycles, even in our urbanized world. Modern archaeological techniques continue to uncover new aspects of Celtic life. Ground-penetrating radar reveals the extent of their settlements. Chemical analysis of ancient artifacts shows sophisticated trade networks stretching from the Baltic to the Mediterranean. Each discovery adds detail to our understanding of this complex civilization. In the fields of medicine and science, Celtic knowledge persists. Their herbal traditions, preserved through generations of healing practices, continue to inform modern pharmacology. Their sophisticated lunar calendar, recovered from the Coligny fragments, demonstrates mathematical and astronomical knowledge that amazes modern scholars. The Celtic legacy in warfare and military organization survived through the medieval period into modern times. Scottish Highland regiments, with their distinctive dress and proud warrior traditions, trace their lineage to Celtic military culture. The emphasis on individual courage and unit loyalty in modern military organizations echoes Celtic warrior bands. In music, Celtic influences resonate strongly. Traditional instruments like the Celtic harp enjoy renewed popularity. Celtic musical scales and rhythms influence contemporary folk and popular music. Annual Celtic music festivals draw thousands of participants worldwide, keeping ancient musical traditions alive while allowing them to evolve. The Celtic gift for language and storytelling enriches modern literature and drama. Writers drawing on Celtic themes and traditions have created works that capture global imagination. The Celtic storytelling tradition, with its emphasis on the power of the spoken word, finds new relevance in our age of podcasts and digital storytelling. Perhaps most importantly, the Celtic legacy reminds us that civilization isn't a straight line of progress but a complex web of influences and adaptations. Their sophisticated understanding of the relationship between human society and the natural world offers valuable insights for our environmental challenges. Their ability to maintain cultural identity while adapting to change provides lessons for our globalized world. As we face modern challenges, environmental degradation, social inequality, spiritual disconnection, the Celtic worldview offers relevant perspectives. Their understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, their respect for both tradition and innovation, their balance of individual achievement with community responsibility, these principles speak directly to contemporary concerns. The Celtic legacy isn't just a matter of historical interest. It's a living tradition that continues to evolve and adapt. In their story, we find not just echoes of the past but guidance for the future. A reminder that wisdom can flow from ancient sources to address modern challenges, that old traditions can speak with new voices to each generation. As we draw our journey through Celtic civilization to a close, let us reflect on the remarkable tapestry of culture, wisdom, and valor that these ancient people wove through European history. Their story is not merely one of battles won and lost, but of a profound worldview that continues to resonate across millennia. The Celtic civilization stands as a powerful testament to the complexity and sophistication of ancient societies. Their masterful metalwork, creating intricate golden torques and fearsome weapons, reflects an artistry that continues to captivate. The Celts held a profound spiritual view, seeing divinity in every aspect of nature, and developed a unique and inspiring way of life that resonates even today. Key aspects of their legacy highlight their intricate social structure, deep cultural achievements, and remarkable spiritual and military heritage. The Celts maintained a complex tribal society where individual worth was highly valued alongside strong community bonds. Revolutionary for their time, they practiced notable gender equality, with women enjoying rights to own property and even lead. They were a warrior society led by an elite bound to strict codes of honor and courage, and they revered their Druids, who served as spiritual leaders, judges, and custodians of oral tradition, preserving their knowledge across generations. Celtic art was rich and sophisticated, featuring intricate geometric patterns and nature-inspired designs that still inspire today. Their oral traditions, passed down through bards and poets, preserved their culture and stories across generations. The Celts were also advanced metalworkers, developing techniques that influenced later European craftsmanship. They possessed a complex calendar system, demonstrating an advanced understanding of astronomy, which connected them deeply to the rhythms of nature. For the Celts, the natural world was sacred. They believed forests, rivers, and mountains embodied divinity, and they sensed a thin veil between the physical and spiritual realms. Seasonal festivals marked the cycles of life and continue to influence modern celebrations. Their worldview was holistic, recognizing the interconnectedness of all aspects of existence, from the physical to the spiritual, binding people and nature together. Celtic warriors were both skilled and innovative. They developed chainmail armor and tactical advancements that influenced Roman and medieval warfare. Their warrior traditions emphasized personal honor and prowess, with a legacy of resistance against empire that inspired future generations. Their military legacy remains a testament to their resilience and the high value they placed on courage and autonomy. The Celtic worldview holds particular relevance for our contemporary challenges. Their sense of environmental stewardship speaks to today's ecological crises, advocating a deep respect for the natural world. The Celtic balance of individual achievement with community responsibility provides a thoughtful perspective on modern social tensions. Their spiritual connection to nature offers a contrast to more materialistic perspectives, promoting harmony and mindfulness in our interaction with the environment. Modern archaeology continues to unveil new insights into Celtic civilization. LiDAR scanning has revealed hidden hill forts, and genetic studies trace their population movements, each discovery adding depth to our understanding of these remarkable people. Their influence persists in our languages, place names, jewelry, and tattoo designs. Their music has influenced contemporary folk and popular music, and their literary traditions inspire storytelling to this day. The Celtic impact extends beyond art and storytelling into environmental and spiritual movements. Modern awareness campaigns promoting harmony with nature echo Celtic reverence for the natural world, advocating for a balanced relationship with the earth. Their enduring spiritual practices continue to inspire those seeking connection with nature, providing a timeless alternative to material-focused perspectives. In artistic traditions, Celtic motifs are unmistakable, from jewelry designs to intricate tattoos, capturing their unique style and honoring their artistic legacy. Musically, Celtic influences flow through folk and popular genres, weaving tales of heritage, struggle, and connection to the land. Their influence also touches literature, with modern stories often inspired by Celtic myth, courage, and the enduring presence of the unseen spiritual realms. In language and place names, we see their legacy across Europe, with countless regions, towns, and even rivers bearing names derived from Celtic origins. This linguistic imprint serves as a constant reminder of their presence and their influence on the European landscape. Finally, archaeological discoveries continue to shed light on the complexity of the Celtic world. With advanced techniques like LiDAR scanning, hidden structures are revealed, mapping ancient hill forts and settlements that bring to life the scale of their society. Genetic studies provide clues about the movement of Celtic populations, painting a vivid picture of their expansion, trade routes, and interactions with other ancient cultures. The legacy of the Celts lives on, as modern discoveries continue to reveal the depth of their knowledge and influence. Their reverence for nature, sense of community, and celebration of life's interconnectedness resonate deeply, offering valuable insights for contemporary society. As we explore their past, the Celts remind us of a time when humanity saw itself as a vital part of nature's tapestry, where every tree, river, and mountain held a spirit, and every life was woven into the larger whole. Their legacy stands as a testament not only to their time but as an inspiring vision of harmony and resilience for the ages. The Celtic story reminds us that civilization isn't a simple march of progress but a complex interweaving of traditions, innovations, and adaptations. Their ability to maintain cultural identity while engaging with other societies offers lessons for our globalized world. Perhaps most inspiringly, the Celtic legacy demonstrates the endurance of cultural memory. Though their political power waned, their wisdom, artistry, and spiritual insights continue to influence and inspire. Their story teaches us that defeat in battle doesn't necessarily mean the death of a culture's spirit or values. And so we conclude our exploration of this fascinating civilization. The story of the Celts reminds us that history isn't just about dates and battles. It's about understanding different ways of seeing and being in the world. Their legacy invites us to question our assumptions about progress, to reconsider our relationship with nature, and to imagine different possibilities for organizing human society. As we face the challenges of our own time, environmental crisis, social upheaval, spiritual searching, the Celtic worldview offers valuable perspectives. Their understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, their balance of individual achievement with community responsibility, their reverence for both tradition and innovation, these principles speak directly to contemporary concerns. Our journey through Celtic history ends here, but the exploration of humanity's rich past continues. If this glimpse into ancient Celtic wisdom has sparked your curiosity, there's so much more to discover. What aspects of Celtic civilization most resonated with you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this historical journey, please support our ongoing exploration of ancient civilizations by liking and sharing this video. Make sure to subscribe to Legacy of Empires and activate notifications to join us on future adventures through time. Together, let's continue uncovering the wisdom and wonder of humanity's greatest civilizations. Remember, in studying the past, we better understand our present and shape our future. Until our next historical adventure, may the spirit of Celtic wisdom inspire your own journey of discovery.